Hello everybody, this is Mike the Gamer Guy for today's stream, the 15th of June. We're just a day after E3, the final day of E3, so we're probably going to be talking about that a little bit, talking about a bunch of stuff I imagine. Make sure that chat's kind of as in view as possible. Today we're playing a game called Super Donkey Kong 2. It's a game that, as far as I can tell from the little research I did, doesn't have we don't know who developed it. It was released by NT, it seems. I think also known as Kasheng, maybe. And it also kind of feels like a sequel to an Yi Hao Yang game called Super Donkey Kong, which shares a lot of assets between the two and some music, but this is apparently not an Yi Hao Yang title. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. And as we start here, I believe there's a trick you can do by pressing A, B, and select at the screen. There is. So we have some password select here. And you're supposed to type in stay cool, and something will happen. I don't know all the details, but we'll get that right out of the way first. It's a cool little way to start off the stream here. That didn't work. Really. That's what it told me to do. Not stay cool. Did I spell it wrong? Am I gonna have to look it up? Stay cool. That is not a correct password. Well, we'll come back to that later then, I guess. For now, let's just get right into the game, and then towards the end we'll research what the deal with that actually is. So this is a really short game, only 3 levels long. But it's kind of challenging, at least the 3rd level is. And if we run out of time, if we finish it really quickly, then I'll do something else. Some things to mention about the game is that it looks very nice, in my opinion. I don't know if I prefer this or Donkey Kong Country 4. I think they both have kind of their charms to them. This one has some pretty great music too. The only sort of issue with the music is that it cuts out pretty bad. Every time you pick something up, it cuts out and it's kind of distracting. Oh jeez. The guy came running right at me. So yeah, I have not beaten this game yet though. So that'll be the goal today. Yeah, I can understand that. In terms of gameplay, I definitely prefer Donkey Kong Country 4, just because it's a meatier game. Also, if you can see DK Island in the background, that's a little bit janked up. Kind of just looks like a green mass. But yeah, I like all these Donkey Kong ports because I think I mentioned this in the Donkey Kong Country 4 stream, but it's like another level of compression. It's like with like old VHS tapes, like making like dozens of copies over the same thing, and you kind of get this fuzzy picture. It's still recognizable as the original tape or show or whatever, but it's got many levels of like jank over it. Because as I understand it correctly, the Donkey Kong Country graphics were already sort of a rotoscope thing, and then you have the bootleggers doing the same thing. That felt kind of unfair. And for what it is, I think it turned out really well. The bugs look like weirdly correct. Where everything else you can kind of see where the compromises are made, that one just looks a little bit too spot on. Aw, jeez. Maybe I should see if there's a way to kill those guys. I don't figure so. Oh well. You can get through this level without killing them, so I guess I'll just do it that way. So I think that there's only one more Donkey Kong game I need to round out the bootleg games, or the pirate originals anyway, for Famicom. It's the prequel to this game. Or spiritual prequel? Can that be a thing? The spiritual prequel. And I know where to get a copy from, but it's a little pricey. Where'd the enemy go? I thought the music stopped there too. Well, I mean it did stop, but I thought it quit entirely. I ended up getting this for what I think is a pretty great price, so I want to do similarly well on the original Super Donkey Kong. And that one's actually more interesting because it's a port of Donkey Kong Land. Which that's what I like to see, I think, most on Famicom are games from systems that were comparably powerful. This part's a little bit... There we go. I go back and forth as to what my favorite console is. The Famicom's definitely up there. But I don't know, the Super Nintendo's really excellent. And actually, the Switch is really up there at this point. As soon as Smash Brothers comes out on it, that's going to be a real contender. Oh, I guess now that I think about it, there is another Donkey Kong port. Even though it doesn't use Donkey Kong, called Panda Prince. It's a Donkey Kong Country port and everything but name. So I guess that's up there. But as far as Donkey Kong ports that are called Donkey Kong, just that Yi Hao Yang game. Shoot. I also am not aware if there's any reason to collect all the letters other than just getting an extra life. But this is the final level already, 10 minutes in. So, unless we get a game over. Hi, International Cartoons. Welcome to the stream. If you feel like it, please consider answering the poll that I left at the top of the chat section. This summer I really want to grow the channel, so I'm trying to get a barometer on what everyone wants. Oh, shoot. This map screen appears completely superficial, which isn't too surprising, but I guess it's a little bit too bad that you can't go back and play earlier levels. I don't know how much that really matters. It's too bad that they didn't make more levels for this, because it's pretty impressive what it is. I think they did a pretty good job with the graphics. The snake looks great. Backgrounds look pretty good. I like the water effect. Watched a Blaster Master video not too long ago talking about how it has like... Oh, really? Don't know about that. Anyway, about like how its backgrounds are kind of impressive, and the fact that you move horizontally and vertically through that game is kind of a big deal for the NES. I think about how many pirate games pull that off. And granted, I mean, it's not perfect. Like some of the junk you see at the top of the screen, I think that's an artifact from that. But I still think it's pretty impressive for what it is. An absolutely massive number of pirate games do that. Like just off the top of my head, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country 4, this game. I guarantee there's more. But just something to kind of think about. Can I get him to respawn? I assume so. Yeah, I could get that guy to respawn instantly. So E3, it came, it went. We released that predictions video. Not many people watched it from the looks of it, but it doesn't matter anyway because we were really wrong. Nintendo really didn't show much. They showed Smash Brothers, which is hugely important to me because I love that series. But aside from that, not really anything. This is the farthest I've been. Ah, shoot. Looks like we're gonna have to start over. That's too bad. Also, I can't figure out the function of the banana coins in this game. Nothing, right? There's no place to use them. It almost strikes me that this was like a demo, more or less. Like we'll put together 3 levels as a proof of concept. Can we get Donkey Kong Country 2 working more or less on a Famicom? The answer was yes, I suppose. And then they didn't do anything with it, or they were like, this is far too ambitious. We'll just release the 3 levels that we have. I'm not sure. Well, Famicom Pony, we just restarted. So, favorite Smash Brothers game? Well, I grew up with Melee. So I guess I want to say that because it's the one that I played the most. But in reality, I guess this is kind of like people don't really like this answer, but it is just the latest Smash Brothers game. So whatever one is out is usually my favorite because I'm all about more characters and more stages. So whatever provides the most characters and most stages is going to be my favorite. So Ultimate might as well be my favorite game, unless they do something really egregious with it. And that's not to say that I don't understand the complaints that people have had with games like Brawl, and its like tripping mechanic, but that stuff is way less important to me than just having a bunch of characters. And stages. Stages almost make me more excited than the characters do. And I'm sure everyone's kind of heard about Smash Bros. Ultimate at this point, so it shouldn't be a spoiler that like every character's in the game, which is amazing. Every previous Smash Bros. Character plus Ridley and Inkling. But also, there's just a massive number of stages. I think we're only missing 30 from the entire series, and we're also getting new ones, like New Donk City from Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild stage, a Splatoon stage. Like, it's just amazing. And I hope we see more new stuff from it, but I'll be pretty satisfied if it really is just this massive conglomeration of all previous Smashes, with a few extra bits thrown in. So I'm gonna try and get the banana coin, I guess. I messed up. Smash Brothers Ultimate is Brawl 2. I heard that on Twitter. Can you explain that to me? Is that a joke? I can't tell. Like, I don't really see it. I guess that is an opinion. The lead up to this Smash game was so crazy that I am shocked that more people aren't disappointed. Like, it's exactly what I would want. But everybody was expecting like 50 billion new characters. I was even expecting a little bit more than what we appear to get, but it's nice that the response has been mostly positive. The only thing I've seen is oh Gray Snake. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. Shoot. Well, we're back to Green Snake. Okay. You started it. Gianna Sisters. Yeah. No, I'm all for weird choices like that. Did you really start that? Please tell me that's actually a true thing. I'm inclined not to believe you. Anyway, there's also a lot of talk of it being a port or not a port. I don't really get that. I understood it when we only had seen the Inkling. Like, I'm like, we don't really know anything about this game. Maybe it's a port, like a really enhanced port that they made a brand new logo for and everything. Now I don't understand the conversation anymore. I don't know what people are talking about. Ugh. That's a tricky jump. Has he said that it's gonna have a story? That'd be great if it had a story. In that sense, I'd love it to be Brawl 2. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Brawl. I think Subspace Emissary was pretty neat. Awesome character selection. I'm glad we got Wolf and Pokemon Trainer back. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Smash Brothers. Even though we only got 2 new characters, some of the characters feel like kind of brand new just in how they've been reworked. Like, Ganondorf finally uses his sword. That's something that always bugged me, even back in the day. I'm like, why does, like when I was playing Melee, like why does he use his sword in his victory animation, but not in the game? There we go. Whew. Getting sketchy. Oh, what? How am I supposed to do that? Subspace Emissary is great. Do you think they can pull it off, though, now, with how big the roster is? And I'm gonna guess that maybe we get another character. Maybe at least one more character. Though I don't really need it. I would like to see maybe King K. Rool finally show up. The one character that I've been wanting since I first played Melee. Oh, my snake became a Kong Banana 24. Awesome. Seems like King K. Rool is like second right after Ridley for characters people want in. Although Geno's another one. That's a good point. I think Geno... Oh. That was a little bit funky on that hitbox. I think Geno's a little bit more likely for a few reasons. I think Sakurai has stated something about Geno in the past, having him in the game. He was a costume in Wii U and 3DS for Mii Fighters. Of course, Cloud's in the game, so they've already got Square Enix on board. And it would be a good pick, too, because that character's got specific history with the Mario franchise. And I'd like to see it, even though I'm not like the hugest Geno fan. I like Mario RPG a lot. One of my favorite bits from the Ultimate reveal was all the Earthbound stuff. I love Earthbound. And just the amount of love that Sakurai's showing that franchise is ridiculous. We may never get another Earthbound game or even see Mother 3 localized, but Sakurai just shows so much love for the series that in a way it kind of makes up for it. I mean, we're always going to be able to play that fan translation of Mother 3, so like little extra new bits of content like this kind of appeal to me almost a little bit more. Okay. Don't know why he stopped moving. So again, anyone who's coming in and would like to take part in a poll, let me see if I can repost the link, maybe. You want to go to that link I just posted in the chat and answer the poll, be helpful. I have some ideas for videos, and I have some scripts even that are currently in the works, but I kind of want to know what I should develop more. For example, one idea that I have is a comprehensive look at every commercially released version of Pokemon Gold and Silver, which sounds like it wouldn't be much of anything at first, but but it turns out that there are quite a bit. Come on now. I think there's like 8 or 9. So, could be something. I've also got a review that I've been writing of Super Donkey Kong. The really bad one, aka Donkey Kong Banana Boat. So, yeah, check out the poll if you want. Looking at the chat. Oh my god. Get it together. There's 3 levels in this game, and it's going to take longer to beat it than all of Donkey Kong Country 4. I think Knuckles, unfortunately, has been deconfirmed. I know that's not a real word, but whatever. That's kind of what the language people use in Smash Brothers. Or maybe not. Maybe Knuckles is in the game, and they revealed him, like, soft revealed him early. What else is there to say about Ultimate? There's so many little details. Oh, the Echo Fighters thing, where they're kind of trying to rebrand clone characters, because, you know, clone characters kind of have this negative connotation to them. So we'll call them Echo Fighters, and then people will be maybe more on board. It seems to be working. People seem pretty enthusiastic about Daisy being in the game, even though she's just a copy of Peach. I'm happy to see it. I've never really had any real problem with clones, though. Ugh. Okay, it's after a banana bunch. What? I've been robbed. You have a banana boat on your SNES Classic? That works? 40% live streams, 40% weird stuff. Alright. Let me see, do I have the thing open myself? Okay. Oh, look at that towards the end. So I get that perspective on clones. I just don't know if that's the way that the development works. The way that I've heard it from, I think, Source Gaming in particular, is that clone characters are added in after the development is already done, so they're not part of Sakurai's project plan. I think is how it is. So to me, it's just like icing on the cake. Now, if that's the case, though, what does that say about Smash Ultimate? If we're already learning about the clone characters, are all the characters decided? Is there no time for a brand new fighter? Then there's the question of DLC. There are a lot of questions to be asking about this game that are a lot better, in my opinion, than is the game a port. And honestly, the is it a port thing? I've seen more people respond to people who think it is than I have seen people who actually think it is. So maybe that's kind of telling, too, but... Seems like this platform has weird properties when it comes to messing with the palette, maybe. Kind of bugs out a little bit on it. Okay. This is tricky. How am I supposed to pull this off? Do I need to kind of despawn that guy and get him desynced from the cannon? Wait, N? I thought I already grabbed the N. or past it, at least. I'm really nervous. I don't want to mess this up. Messed it up. Hi. Welcome to the stream. It's like a filler episode. Filler doesn't have to necessarily be bad, though. I'm trying to think of filler that's good. I was having a conversation about this, like, yesterday. It'll come to me later, probably. I'm fine with DLC. If you haven't read it, definitely check out some of Sakurai's Famitsu columns. He has one where he talks about DLC, and it kind of is to him just a way to provide fan service that they couldn't really during the game. It's not so much a problem with this one, though, because, of course, it is just the ultimate fan service game. But I'm always up for new characters. At the same time, I like the idea of having a complete Smash Brothers. So I downloaded some of the free games that we got from E3 that are available on Switch. Fallout Shelter and Fortnite. And I can't believe I've played Fortnite. I don't know, I'm a big elitist, so I was kind of avoiding that one, just because of how popular it is. I don't get it. I was avoiding it in part because I thought that I would really like it. And that'd make me a plebe, because I'm an elitist. But, I didn't end up getting it. I don't see the appeal of that one. It just seems like a overly complex, Battle Royale thing. And there's all these mechanics where you can build shelters and stuff, but people just shoot each other? So why is that in there? And then you can't build a permanent shelter because the map shrinks. So that one is lost on me. Dragon Ball Z is not something I think of when I think of good filler. Interestingly enough. I can't remember, there was like a perfect example, and it's totally left my mind. Why not Splatoon 2? Famicom Pony. Is Splatoon 1 still supported by Nintendo even? Like, obviously not content update-wise, but... like, are the servers still running? I suppose they probably are. Speaking of online Nintendo games, Don't know if I mentioned this, but I got a chance to play Mario Tennis Aces during their... Ugh. Oh, wow. Their online tournament thing. And I really liked it, but the online infrastructure for Switch is basically non-existent. In concept, I really like the peer-to-peer thing. It means online games will never not be playable, I think, is what that would mean. But the two issues with that is that it doesn't work. And also, when they introduce this online service and put it behind a paywall anyway, is that going to lock it out in the same way that the server shutting down would have? That kind of concerns me. Because that's the only benefit I can see to P2P over actual servers that make the game run good. I guess I can probably move the chat window down more so people can actually see the whole thing. Overall, the controls in this game are pretty decent. Even if it, some of the challenges it asks you to do are kind of a bit much. That final B area is, yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that one. Also, they maybe could have stood to cut down on sprite sizes a little bit, shrink everybody down a bit. Because even though these sprites are nice and big and fairly representative of Donkey Kong Country 2, there's a lot of flicker on the screen. The music's good though. Maybe there's a level select code. Maybe I could type that in. If we die again, we can just start here. Yeah, I agree. This is really demanding. And even though this is not an Ihao Yang game, the controls do kind of remind me of something like that. Well, supposedly isn't. I guess it could be. Who knows? Maybe you saw on Twitter, I found some counterfeit Pokemon cards on vacation. I was actually out hunting for Famiclones because I thought it'd be fun to like bring a Famiclone home. I didn't find anything and that related to Famicom or whatever, but I did find some bootleg Pokemon cards, which were kind of amusing. Not as funny as I'd hoped. The cards themselves are pretty standard, aside from a few things. Do I have any on me right now? I maybe had a stack of them. Oh, here they are. Maybe if I get desperate, we'll look at those in a second. But yeah, they're just very minutely weird. Like, some of them are spot-on copies of the real thing. Other ones, like, have slight bizarre differences with description or letters not capitalized properly when it is on the regular card. So, don't know if it warrants a whole video or not. I'll think about it. Wish there was a level select. I don't want to go back to the start again. Okay. There we go! Hooray! I hope. 2 useless banana coins. We won the game! Those Pokemon Go cards, that's what I wish they were. Where they actually just took a screenshot on an iPhone or Android device and then made a card out of that. That's pretty crazy. It's like, it looks like they tried to make some game out of it. If you've ever like looked at one of the cards close, because they did add like attack and defense, but the HP is still like 99, and the like attack and defense are 7 billion attack. It's kind of bizarre. It only took us 40 minutes, which is far too long, probably. Let me see if I can figure out what that code is. Okay. And since we got done pretty early, I'm thinking maybe doing another stream of one of the Pokemon games I have for NES. Famicom, if anyone's interested in that. Alright, let's find this. There's a Super Donkey Kong 3 for Game Boy, which I guess in a way would kind of cap off the trilogy. Not played that one before though. Super Donkey Kong 2. Okay. By pressing A, B, and select at the title screen, a password screen will show up. If the player enters the password "Stay Cool," a screen with the family logo, some Chinese text, a trademark registration number, and logo Gold Leopard will appear. In some versions, the password is instead something nonsensical. I bet it's that one. H L S P There we go. That was worth it. I guess in the other one it shows the family logo. Who I don't know for anything other than their Samari Hack family kid. Is there anything else that we can do with this game while we have it up and running? That is a good possibly. Gold leopard logo. Okay. Wait. The gold leopard logo is displayed a second time instead of the family logo. Oh, I guess top and bottom. I wonder what that text says then. So the top thing's gold leopard, I bet. Says something. It just says some Chinese text. Anyone got any idea what it is? That's Super Donkey Kong 2. So, if you guys want, I'll take a quick break, load up into a Pokemon game. Does anyone have an opinion of Heart Gold, Platinum, or what's the other one I got? I got Red and Ruby or Sapphire. China's some city name? Okay. Alrighty then. See you guys momentarily.